Hey Aries, this is Leah with Half Moon Tarot. I will be doing your 2024 reading for March. I have already meditated over the cards and asked that Spirit bring whatever is necessary for you to hear, for you to know, expect, and be prepared for. So, Aries, coming into March 2024, I really had a hard time deciphering these cards. I really had a hard time combing through them. I was like, what is Spirit trying to tell me? And then I realized, shit, Aries got a hard time deciphering too. Okay. So, what I took from this spread of cards, the big card that really stood out to me is the Two of Swords. Okay. The Two of Swords talks about indecision and how we go outside of our own selves to make decisions, to talk about situations, to gain advice when really we already knew the answer. Right? It might be a tough decision. It might be a tough answer that we are not willing to step into or ready to step into, but it needs to be made and it needs to happen. Right? So I don't have any specifics on the situation. I don't have any specifics on the decision. But what I do know, Aries, is that it is time for you to step up and do it. Okay? The Two of Swords talks about, like I said, indecision, but it talks about how we are voluntarily blind. Okay? How we voluntarily do not want to see what needs to be done. We voluntarily do not want to read those instructions, those books. We voluntarily don't listen. Okay? And not listening to other people, but not listening to ourselves. Right? We all have intuition. We all have a gut instinct, Aries, and we have to move with that in order to, one, accomplish what we want to accomplish, and two, survive, especially on this human plane, right? So, moving with intuition is going to be your best bet for March of 2024. Now you come in with the six of coins, the Two of Swords, and the World card. And it's almost like you are having this indecision between being private and being public. Okay. The Six of Coins doesn't necessarily talk about being private, but it does talk about intimacy. And not in the sexual way, but intimacy in the space of I'm keeping this close to my heart. Okay. I am keeping this information close to my heart. I'm keeping this knowledge close to my heart. I'm keeping this relationship close to my heart. And that information is only shared with very few to none people. Okay. The Six of Coins also talks about charity and giving of time. I think in this situation, it is asking you, when are you going to be charitable to self? When are you going to give time to yourself? When are you going to make the space to be intimate with yourself, right? Because it almost seems as if, Aries, you're being pulled in these two different directions and you're losing the relationship with self. You're losing the ability to make decisions for yourself, right? And maybe you feel like all of these decisions, all of these situations have to be filtered and funneled through a certain amount of people, or they have to go through, a certain test, if you will, in order for it to be worthy of you. And the only person that knows if it's worthy of you is you, right? So the only thing that decision or situation has to go through is you in order for you to do what's right for you, okay? The World card, on the other hand, talks about being public, right? And what happens when we are public with things? We see it all the time on social media. You open yourself up to other people's opinions. You open yourself to other people's distractions and their criticisms, their feedback of what they think you should be doing, right? And it's almost like this is either a mother figure, a father figure, a grandmother, somebody or a very close friend that's always like, well, you should do this, or you could be doing that, or and it's just like, how is that helping me in this situation right now? How is this helping me in the decision? Well, you should have did this and then you wouldn't be in this situation. I'm getting that conversation in my head a lot, right? So, in order for you to get out of this indecisive mindset that you got going on, Aries, you got to just do it, and do it in silence. That is where the Knight of Coins comes in. I call this my G card, okay? My lasagna card, right? Because moving in silence, like the G in lasagna, is what the Knight of Coins does, right? If you look at the card doesn't have any coins on it, just him and his horse, all right? And it's like, yeah, I got the coins, but you'll never see them, right? You'll never know how many coins I have. I could have one, I could have many, right? Because the Knight of Coins is all about building relationship out of the things that we are and not what we have, right? So when we are making decisions in silence, we are building relationship with who we are and not about the stuff that we have. Okay? This moves me into the Knight of Wands. Now, I'm going to skim through the Knight of Wands and the Lover's card because I really want to get down to how I had to read these cards, okay? So, the Knight of Wands talks about how if we move publicly, right? If we make the decision to move publicly, how that makes us small, right? If you look at the Knight of Wands card, look at how small he is holding such big energy, right? We can hold big energy in public and on the inside feel like an ant, okay? So, would you rather move in this way of building relationship with who we are, or would you rather move in this energy of moving with this big energy, but really on the inside, feeling like you don't even live up to the energy that you show in public, right? And then we move into the Lover's card, and the Lover's card can go one of two ways, right? It can go in the way of finding balance within yourself and others because there is a boundary there, okay? It is in the boundary of respect, honor, and it is there to uplift you and not depress you, right? Or it can go the other way, where we're constantly attracted to the things that are not good for us. Those things could be all the nouns: people, places, things, okay? We can move in a space where we are constantly being pulled into a group of people or pulled into situations or making decisions that are not of our greatest good, okay? So the way that I really had to read this was from a indecisive decision mindset, okay? And when I look at where the Two of Swords are pointing, they're pointing in two different directions. So that made me read this spread with two different pathways: one pathway to the left and one pathway to the right, right? So the first pathway to the left would be the Six of Coins, the Knight of Coins, down into the Lover's card, okay? And if I decide to build this relationship with myself and start to make my own decisions and really standing in them and being proud in them and not having to run it past a bunch of people before I actually make the decision, right? But standing proud in this decision that I've made for myself, then I can start to build long lasting relationships that pour into me without the expectation of payback. Okay? You want to build relationships, Aries, that you can pour into them, they can pour into you, and nothing be held over anybody's head, right? Because truly, you don't know what I have, and I don't know what you have. But if we continue to pour into each other, what we have will come together eventually, right? That will lead us into the Lover's card, where we find these very healthy boundaries of relationship, where we find these very healthy groups of people that we are in that continue to pour into us and we continue to pour into them, right? On the other hand, I could go down the route of the World card, where the World card will then pour into the Knight of Wands, which will pour into the Lover's card, because the Lover's card can go one of two ways, right? So the World card, if I continue to put myself in a space of being public and open to people's criticism and open to people's opinions and having those sway my decisions, then that is going to put me in little energy, right? Into this little, it's going to compact me into a space where I fit other people's opinions of me instead of creating my own. And I might walk around with this big energy, and I might be like, I tell you what to do and you don't tell me what to do, but when I go home at night, I cry. When I go home at night, I feel alone, even if I have somebody laying next to me, right? I don't feel like I am living up to my worth, right? I'm carrying around this energy, but I'm not living up to it, because you know why? No one's pouring into me. All I'm getting is criticism. All I'm getting are people's opinions of me. And I'm really trying to be that people pleaser. I want to please them so I can be bigger in their eyes. And maybe for just once, I'll be bigger in my own, which is going to pour into the Lover's card, right? And we already said the Lover's card, when taking this route, is going to constantly pull you into groups of people that are not for you. They're not going to pour into you. They're going to be very selfish, right? They're going to take and never give back, okay? So it's your decision, Aries. In this month, be in the space of making your own decisions. Now, some things you're going to make a decision to be public. Some things you're going to make a decision to be private. But what matters is that you made the decision either way. Okay? My advice to you is to keep the decisions to yourself. Don't ask other people what you should be doing. Don't ask other people, do they think this is right? Do they think this is cute? Do I look fat in this? Is this? No, we're not doing all that, right? Because you already know the answer. Okay? This is a month where we start to learn to stand on our own 2 feet, 10 toes down in the decisions that we've made. Okay? And then we can take off the blindfold. We can start to gain knowledge of ourselves and be confident in it. Okay? Aries, I hope you enjoyed this reading. Like, share, subscribe, drop down in the comments. Let me know how it aligned. If it doesn't align with you, honey, if it doesn't apply, baby, let it fly. Okay? If it's not for you, that's cool. All right? I will see y'all next month. Be well.